Welcome to this edition of Channel 97 News.
Here's a look at some of the things that you'll see on today's show.
A senior boy known for his athletic and academic skills has been crowned Mr. OHS 2011.
The mother of an OHS graduate reminds us about the importance of making good decisions.
Parents in Oakville take advantage of a unique program, and 2 of them are closer than you think.
And OHS prepares to say goodbye to a teacher who has been here for more than 4 decades.
We'll have all that and much more on today's edition of Channel 97 News.
And it all starts now.
Welcome back to Eyes on the Tigers, Channel 97 News. I'm Hannah Yates.
And I'm Jerica Drago. Our first story is about an annual event that brings out the best in our senior boys. Here's Hannah with the story.
Out of all the acts in the pageant, there was one that really stood out, consisting of 3 contestants whose hard work paid off.
It was really cool that we all made the final 5 because we just put a lot of work into it and we were all rooting for each other.
It was definitely one of the better acts, and what made it so good was the amount of effort and time that you could tell that they put into it. They had the moves down. I don't think they missed a beat.
Corey, Eric, and I practiced 3 weeks before the show we started, and we would practice for about an hour to 2 hours at a time for about 3 times a week.
It really helped having Corey in the group because he was the only one of us that was an actual dancer and had actual dancing experience before. So he helped with a lot of the choreography.
And the winner of Mr. OHS 2011, Drew Hensel.
I was very excited and happy that all my hard work I put into it paid off.
With photographer Samantha Riggs, I'm Hannah Yates for Channel 97 News.
Congratulations to Drew Hensel and all of our senior boys. Now here's a look at some other stories going on around Oakville.
The History Bowl made Oakville history in its first year of competition. Here's more.
It was an excellent trip in terms of seeing sights and doing those sorts of things. The event itself, we appointed ourselves, I think, rather well. I think overall we did a very good job. We just missed sending a person to the B finals at Mount Vernon.
Oakville students went on a trip of musical joy and wonder. Here's a look.
We took the kids to Williamsburg, Virginia to compete in the Heritage Music Festivals. It's a quality festival with top-notch adjudicators, so we always try to put quality judges in front of our kids so we can get the best feedback out of those things.
We took 6 groups. All 6 groups got gold, which means they scored 90 or higher average percentage from the judges. We had one group that got a 95 or higher, and they got a special award called the Adjudicators Award. We got first place in all categories except for one, and that category got second place.
After a 2-year hiatus, show choir displayed their skills at the Show Choir Showcase this Friday. Tickets are $5 at the door, and the doors open at 6:30.
Showcase is where show choir show all their talents individually and then come as a group and sing and dance, and it's really, really fun, a great experience, and I enjoy it.
Which competitive group has come across great intellectual success? It's Quiz Bowl.
We competed at districts at Festus, and we competed against Webster Grove, Seckman, Narinx, Koryezu. We beat them all by a landslide, and we were scoring 400 points to 100 each round, so we won districts. My key players right now are Mark Richter, Justin Bayer, Brandon Dake, Mike Menkes, Tim Cliff, and Andrew Ludwig.
That's what's going on around OHS. Now back to the studio.
With prom this Saturday, OHS is reminding juniors and seniors to drive carefully. Jerica has a story that shows us just how important it is for safe driving.
So Tuesday night, he was going out with his friends, and he always had a same habit. He was a big kid, skinny, but he'd give me this big hug, and he'd say, "Bye, Mom, call me if you need anything."
At 1:53 on a Wednesday morning in September 2001, 19-year-old Jordan Fagan died in a single vehicle accident on Patterson Road. Jordan was one of 3 passengers in the car. He and the driver both died.
This isn't the spot where 19-year-old Jordan died, but it is the place that his friends and family decided to place a memorial so that teenagers driving down this road always remembered, drive safely or pay the price.
They see that. They see that sight. They see that memorial to him, and they know what the consequences could be if they make a mistake.
Not long after this accident, Oakville began doing its part to warn students about dangerous driving. This Wednesday during A&P, juniors and seniors will get to witness a mock car crash demonstration.
What we're trying to do, obviously, is make kids aware that things can happen in an instant, and that that you need to make good decisions with prom and graduation coming up. We'll continue to do these kinds of things because I think if it does make a difference with one kid, then obviously it's worth it.
Parents like Susan Berg are hopeful that these demonstrations can help their children make good decisions.
I miss him every second, every minute, every day. And I want them to know how they leave us like that. We are not supposed to bury our children. We're supposed to go before them.
With photographer Chris Torno, I'm Jerica Drago for Channel 97 News.
Many of you have noticed the daycare center on the 2nd floor. John Stenson has this story.
All right, you ready to do this? You guys got it all down? Ready?
So with the things you brought to, The Tiger Tots program is a program in which Parenting 2 students learn to take care of children. Some teachers, like Brett and Jen Lieberoff, even utilize the program by dropping off their children, Chloe and Maddie. Here's the story.
I think it's really good because, like for our youngest daughter, who's never been in school before or any classes, she kind of gets to be around other kids.
We use the Tiger Tot program because it's convenient for us since my husband and I both work here in the school. I think it's a great program. I'm actually very impressed with it this year. We get letters home every day talking about what they did for the day and the different curriculum that they're going through with them. So I think the kids in the Parenting 2 class are doing a wonderful job with them.
Oh, she's awesome. She's only 5, but we communicate so well. High five. Yes.
With photographer John Stinson and JB Black, I'm Mandy Hesser for Channel 97 News.
Many teachers have come and gone in the 40 years of Oakville High School. One teacher has been here through it all. Here's Emily Elking with more.
Well, there's been quite a few changes. When I first started here, and I student taught here in '74, there was no stadium here. In the first years, this was just a freshman center, so only Gym B was here, and the front parking lot wasn't even there. It was all a grass area. They've added on to it about 5 different times. Going through college, I always wanted to teach here. This was kind of my goal in life, to be able to teach physical education here. And I've spent 35 years of my life here, in the greatest part of my life. I love it here. Every morning I want to come here. It's a good place. I always tell people we've got good kids here. We don't have the greatest facilities, or we don't get paid the most, but we've got good kids, and I work with good people.
With photographer Tiara Bams, I'm Emily Elking for Channel 97 News.
The weather is really starting to heat up. If you're looking for a place to get a tasty snow cone, here's a spot just down the road.
Today we're at the Crazy Lady Snow Cone stand on Telegraph in the Fram View Plaza. Let's check it out.
See, I never knew what a snow cone was.
right?
Yeah.
I grew in England most of the time, most of my life, and we don't believe in ice. Everything is warm. Beer, water, tea, everything's hot. But my husband said, let's open up a snow cone stand, and I figured it out, how to make the best snow cone in town.
I like the snow cone lady because we've had some good times together. I know her on a personal level.
You guys need to get my book. Maybe get together. It's only $10. It's you're gonna learn a lot. Then you'll find out where I come from. Because I've never stayed in a country long enough. I was a sweatshop kid.
Yeah.
You know, with embroidery and all that. I used to sew for the kings and queens of Europe.
With photographer Miranda Reinhardt, I'm Demi Batonas for Channel 97 News.
And now it's time for sports. Jack Romine shows us what's been happening with some of our spring teams.
Hello! Jack Romine here for Channel 97 Sports. Spring sports had a strong season. Look to have a strong postseason as well. Volleyball is flawless thus far and look to stay so.
Well, we've had an undefeated season, and districts, since we've been doing so well, it's going to be pretty easy as we play with the easiest teams. I'm playing on undefeated districts and an easy road to state this year.
Baseball's doing great this season with a record well above 500.
We're having a good season. Everybody's pulling together. A lot of teamwork going on. Seniors taking the reins. Districts this year, it's going to be a challenge. Parkway South's still undefeated, but any team can be beat on any different given day.
Soccer is rolling and on a hot streak.
Our season has been going pretty well. We have a lot of determination to win districts.
Track is doing great in conference play.
So far, we've had a really good season. We've got a lot of talent on the team this year, and there's been a lot of kids that have had some really solid performances. We've got districts coming up in a couple days. Hopefully we can do it big down there, move on to sectionals, and then maybe even state.
Golf is 500.
Did all right at districts, just an overall average year. We got the heart. We're coming back next year strong.
Tennis is outperforming expectations this year.
Tennis is good. We've done really well this season. It's one of the better seasons we've had in a while. We're looking to do really great at districts.
Water polo also had a great season. That's it this time for sports. Good night and good luck.
And now it's time once again for Tiger Walking.
Hi, I'm Jamie Black with photographer Mandy Hesser, and this is Tiger Walking. Today we're asking seniors about how they were asked to prom. Let's see what they had to say.
My boyfriend and I were on spring break together, and he woke me up really early one morning, and we went down to the beach, and he had gone down there before and shoveled prom into the sand.
I asked Katie Justice by filling up her room with balloons, and I put a note that said prom question mark in one of the balloons and had her pop them all to find the note.
I was in the cafeteria, stood on a desk, told everybody to shut up, and I asked her in front of everybody.
My boyfriend took me out to dinner, and when it came to dessert, they brought a cheesecake and it said prom and chocolate sauce.
I went over to their house to pick them up, thinking that we were going to go to Bee Tree because I had something set up. So I picked her up, and we went driving, and I was pulled over by a police officer who then told me to get out of the car and search my trunk, where I had flowers, and went over to the side and asked her to go to prom with me.
I asked Jamie Black to prom by surprising her at Mr. OHS and asking her on stage.
Eric Lear asked me to go on stage, and I was like, okay, so I went on stage and he asked me to prom, and I was like, yeah! And that was it, and we're going to prom together.
Nick Bevenue came up in front of all my friends and wrote a poem, and the last line was really cute. Should I say it? It said, I really don't want to have to take my mom, so Allison, please go with me to prom.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Channel 97 News. Thanks for watching. I'm Hannah Yates.
And I'm Jerica Drago. Remember, Oakville, keep your eyes on the Tigers.
Go ahead, ask me a question.
What is the greatest thing you've ever written about?
The greatest thing I've ever written about was freshman year when I was in class. I wrote about a farmer named Joe, and after World War II, he got back from the war and he was depressed because he had to kill a few men and he didn't know what to do with his life. And then his wife died. And so he just had he was down about himself. But then he discovered this 12-year-old boy named Steve who decided to come work as a farmhand. And Steve just brought light to his world because he was such a positive young child. And Farmer Joe learned lessons from Steve. And they farmed together for years until Farmer Joe finally died, and then Steve took over the farm, and now it's a famous farm, and some people call it Eckert's.